Hello best learners, this is Mustafa here at Learn with the Best, and today we're going to be discussing Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 36. Disdain the things that you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. In this video, I'm going to define the law for you, and then we'll look at my very own love life from high school as our first example, followed by a story from the book. And then we'll end with an analysis on how we can wield this law to its maximum effect on our path to ultimate power. Here's the law. By acknowledging a petty problem, you give it existence and credibility. The more attention that you pay to an enemy, the stronger you make him. And a small mistake is often made worse and more visible when you try to fix it. It is sometimes best to leave things alone. If there is something that you want but cannot have, show contempt for it. The less interest you reveal, the more superior you seem. So once upon a time, back in high school, there was a girl named Lisa. I had a crush on her, but I didn't really know how to play the game of love. I asked her to one of the school dances, and at first she said yes, but then she changed her mind and she said no. And like a dummy, I still wanted her. I was still pining after her. We would continue to hang out every now and then, mostly to her benefit, because you see, I kept trying to win her over by bringing her little gifts here and there. I'd also treat her to lunch sometimes, but when it came to romance, she kept turning me down. Eventually, another girl entered the scene. Marcia came along. She was cute and she appreciated me, so naturally my attention shifted from Lisa to Marcia. I stopped bringing Lisa gifts and I stopped buying her lunch. I inadvertently practiced this law. I disdained the thing that I could not have and I ignored it. Lisa observed me hanging out more and more with Marcia, and she saw that Marcia had taken an interest in me as well. And you know what? Marcia and I were a pretty good couple. So what did Lisa do? Naturally, she tried to pull me away from Marcia, and of course it didn't work. Lisa was no longer worthy of my attention, and this drove her even more crazy. She started writing me letters and sticking them in my locker. She would try to find me wherever I was. She even showed up to my house a couple of times. Marcia was observing all of this, and it drove her insane as well. And her attraction for me kept growing. I had accidentally practiced this powerful law as a high school kid, and it worked out quite well. Now, let's look at a story from the book, but before we do that, I need your help with YouTube's algorithm, dear viewer. Please, smash that thumbs up button below, because if you don't, then YouTube is simply not going to show this video to anyone else, and that would be a darn shame. Please also subscribe and click on the bell icon, because if you don't, then again, YouTube won't let you know when a new video is uploaded. And if you want to transform yourself from a lamb to a lion, then check out my course pinned in the top comment below. I will teach you the tools that you need for success, but you have to actually step up and put in the work on yourself. This course is not for everyone, because the majority of the population are sheep, but for those very few of us who do want to walk the path of a lion, this is the course for you. Once upon a time, roughly 100 or so years ago, there was a rebel leader in Mexico named Pancho Villa. He was like a folk hero, robbing trains and giving to the poor, kind of like a Robin Hood. Hearing of his adventures, people in both Mexico and America took a liking to him. Eventually, Pancho lost the battle in the revolution of change that he was hoping to bring about to Mexico, and he started blaming the United States for his losses. And so what he did is, he raided a town in Columbus, New Mexico, killing 17 Americans. After this, both the American and Mexican people took a strong disliking to Pancho Villa and wanted to see him put down. The bandit needed to be punished because, make no mistake, he was a bad criminal. And for a country as powerful as the United States to not do anything about this crime would be a show of extreme weakness. Or so that's what President Woodrow Wilson had thought. So, with the approval of the Mexican president, America sent a force of 10,000 troops into Mexico to capture Pancho Villa and bring him to justice. Now, as any 5th grader may know, you don't send an army of 10,000 troops to capture one man. It never works. Pancho Villa fled from town to town, leading the American army into the desert, zigzagging through harsh mountainous terrain and tiring the army out completely. The Mexican people started to see Pancho as a hero again because he was one small guy against a literal army of 10,000 Americans. And because Pancho was able to outmaneuver them, he was painted as a sort of David versus Goliath, and his popularity started to skyrocket again. America became the world's laughingstock, and President Woodrow Wilson finally withdrew the 10,000 troops that he had sent in. Now, if President Wilson had not gotten so emotional, he could have sent in a small elite force to swiftly take Pancho down. And at that point, after the enemy was defeated, he could have made a small announcement saying that Pancho had been taken out. But no, the president got emotional over a little ant, a tiny fly on the wall, a cockroach under the boot. Someone like Pancho didn't need to be put on center stage for America, Mexico, and the entire world. He was simply not worth the attention. He took the lives of 17 Americans, and for that he should pay dearly. But let's please not put the man on the world stage. Pancho should have been disdained and ignored, at least publicly. So how can we use this power to our advantage? Let's first understand that a strong desire for something often creates paradoxical effects. The more you want something, the more you chase, the more it will elude you. Just look at my very own example, for instance. The more I desired Lisa, the more she ran away from me. She saw me as weak and unworthy because of my neediness. After I had completely disdained her though, and she saw another girl taking an interest in me, then she changed her mind, and because she could no longer have me, she wanted me more and more. When it comes to love, if your timing and circumstances are aligned, what you need to do is turn your back on the object of your desires. Show them your contempt and disdain. This is the kind of powerful response that will drive women wild. They will respond with a new, strong desire of their own, and you have in effect successfully baited them. Now the ball is in your court, and you can decide what move you want to make on the chessboard. Now, let's understand that if choosing to ignore enhances your power, then the opposite of that would be commitment, which in turn makes you weaker. By making such a strong commitment to capturing Pancho Villa and then not following through on that commitment, President Wilson appeared extremely weak. The mighty United States could not capture a lone criminal? Really? How foolish. So, what do you do when you truly cannot have something that you want? Say you want a woman and she has absolutely no desire for you. Just ignore her. Do not make a big show out of how much you care for her. Do not go around telling all of your friends and your coworkers about how much you love her. This will only make you appear weak and powerless. Instead, use the sour grapes approach. Just say that you were never even that interested in her to begin with. This approach will make you appear more in control, much more attractive, and that much more powerful. Alrighty, I think we should end the video here. If you like my YouTube content and you want to support me and the creation of more content, then please check out my Patreon link pinned in the top comment below. I upload new videos every Friday for my Patreon subscribers that go deeper into my life regarding the 48 laws. These videos are a bit more raw and untamed than my usual videos here on YouTube. And if you're a patron of mine already, then I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's people like you that truly make all of this even possible in the first place. I hope you enjoyed this animated video on Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 36. Disdain the things that you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Thanks, and I'll see you next time for Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 37.